I'm in need of some emotional release. So I think that when I do get home, I will put on Chasing the Sun and I'll watch that bit of Rassie Erasmus talking about Makazole Mapimpi, and I'll start to well up and I'll hook a little bit, and then I'll start chunking, because for me it is a very, very powerful and emotional part of the rugby documentary, Chasing the Sun. It was about South Africa's 2019 Rugby World Cup campaign. It was announced this week that Chasing the Sun 2 will premiere in South Africa in March of this year. It is currently one of the most successful and highly rated documentaries from South Africa. It has a 9.6 rating on IMDb. It's fantastic, and I go back and I watch it at least once every second month. Gareth Whittaker is the producer of Chasing the Sun 1 and 2. Congratulations, like you've won the Rugby World Cup. I think we can still congratulate ourselves, Gareth. But wow, Chasing the Sun, were you surprised just what reception? Chasing the Sun is canon in South Africa now after the 2019 Rugby World Cup victory. It has this special place in South Africa pop culture, media, and sport life at the moment as a documentary film.
Morning. I suppose it does. I think what we love as South Africans is we love great stories that show us off as the country that we can be. And Chasing the Sun, I think, did that. We also, of course, love the Springboks. So it's just one of those special stories. I'm chuffed to hear you go and watch it every couple of months. It's a good injection of hope straight into the veins, isn't it?
Oh gosh, which means I'm waiting in anticipation for Chasing the Sun 2. Was it always on the cards? Look, take us through to how you planned for Chasing the Sun. Was it always the case there was going to be a documentary, whether or not the Springboks won the 2019 Rugby World Cup? And is it the same plan for the 2023 World Cup?
Yeah, so 2019 was more of a gut feel from the guys at SuperSport and SA Rugby. So the likes of Mark Jury and Imtiaz Patel, and then the guys from SA Rugby, in particular Rassie. I think they knew that something special was brewing within that Springbok unit in the run-up to 2019, and so they made a decision to send a camera crew into the change room, which was a first in South African sport. I don't know whether the absolute vision of a documentary series had crystallized until we won the final. And once we had won, I think the idea of what this could become landed pretty clearly with everybody. And then we got working on the post-production, which is the bulk of the kind of hard work in putting these stories together. Following then the way in which South Africa and the world seemed to really fall in love with the TV show, it was certainly always on the cards for 2023. Obviously, the result just couldn't have gone any better, could it? 1 point win, 1 point win, 1 point win. But these stories take backing, right?
Yeah.
And it takes so many different people, from the broadcast partners to the team themselves and the management and the players, and then our wonderful sponsors who come on board. So it takes quite a bit to make it happen. But we always wanted it. And then we don't actually have to decide whether we would have done it, whether we had won or not, because we won, right? And we were always going to, weren't we?
Let's play our listeners just 45 seconds of the trailer for Chasing the Sun 2, and let's have a listen.
At a stage, I just looked up and closed my eyes, and the tears started running down my face.
Look.
Hope is it's an interesting thing.
of course, being with such proximity to SA Rugby and the team must have been a very interesting experience, being so close and this good relationship with players and management to talk openly about not only just the last Rugby World Cup, but I guess over the last 7 years that this team headed by Rassie and then Jacques have been together.
Yeah, it's a great privilege to be able to spend time with these great South Africans and to be able to learn. And I hope that what people take away from this series that will be coming now in March is that, you know, we obviously aren't all big enough, strong enough, or talented enough to be Springboks, but damn, man, we can work as a country and as a people, and that's the thing I think that this team have shown us better than perhaps any team in South Africa's history, is that when we come together, we are so good as a country, and so you kind of learn those lessons. You learn those leadership lessons. You learn those lessons of what it is to be part of a team, and yeah, it's a great privilege to be able to spend time within that space. Yeah.
Because it has such a very important space already, the Chasing the Sun documentary series. Chasing the sun in the land of the rising sun in Japan. I think it makes sense just to keep the title in, even though we won in Paris, France in 2023.
Yeah, there's a few parts to that. So, Chasing the Sun, the name was sort of had two things. Firstly, it was in the land of the rising sun, but what some people don't realize is that in Madiba's first speech to Parliament, he spoke of a dream for this country, that one day all of her children may play in the sun. And what we loved about that dream is that 2019 Springbok team was a realization of that dream. You just think of the try that we scored in the final. You got a young guy from Cape Town, a young colored guy from Cape Town, passing the ball to a white guy who would have grown up sort of 60 kilometers away, to a black guy from the Eastern Cape. You know, it really was the realization of this dream that all of Madiba's children would play in the sun. And so that as a philosophy we want to carry through. And then I guess in simple branding, people know it and love it and are clearly very excited for the second installment. So yeah, we stuck with the name. Although I thoroughly enjoyed the banter on social media around the possible names. Chasing the One was the one I liked.
Well, a listener says Chasing the Cheese is not quite the same.
It's not quite the same, but I encourage people to keep sending us names because it's good fun to see what the other ideas are.
Gareth Whittaker, producer of Chasing the Sun 2, just what you said now about Madiba, and saying that one day all of our kids will play in the sun. No chunkek amper. It's a tear in my eye. Hoendervlees. But thanks so much, Gareth Whittaker.